وأما الذين فسقوا فمأواهم النار كلما أرادوا أن يخرجوا منها أعيدوا فيها وقيل لهم ذوقوا عذاب النار الذي كنتم به تكذبون ولنذيقنهم من العذاب الأدنى دون العذاب الأكبر لعلهم يرجعون ومن أظلم ممن ذكر بآيات ربه ثم أعرض عنها إنا من المجرمين منتقمون ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب فلا تكن في مرية من لقائه وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل وجعلنا منهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا لما صبروا وكانوا بآياتنا يوقنون إن ربك هو يفصل بينهم يوم القيامة فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون أولم يهد لهم كم أهلكنا من قبلهم من القرون يمشون في مساكنهم إن في ذلك لآيات أفلا يسمعون أولم يروا أنا نسوق الماء إلى الأرض الجرز فنخرج به زرعا تأكل منه أنعامهم وأنفسهم أفلا يبصرون ويقولون متى هذا الفتح إن كنتم صادقين واليوم الفتح لا ينفع الذين كفروا إيمانهم ولا هم ينظرون فأعرض عنهم وانتظر إنهم منتظرون صدق الله العلي العظيم. صل على محمد وآل محمد. Did you start the program?
Yeah, live.
We're live?
Yeah.
Okay. What's next? Brother Hassan? Here. What? He will be here before
5:30?
5:20.
5:20.
He will be here. So we can start?
Yeah. You can start.
Time meeting it.
What time?
Bismillah.
You want to read something?
Bismillah. You have 10 minutes before we decide.
I can read something.
Okay.
I'll read something small.
Okay, you want to read something?
And they all come because they are late. So they all come.
I am. I just have maybe 2 lines to recite something, and after that, I'm gonna go to Chalak and we'll have lecture after.
Don't just leave it like this.
So one more salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
जो भी मसरूफ सना में शहादा रहता है, जो भी मसरूफ सना में शहादा रहता है, तो रहता नहीं पर नाम सदा रहता है। शिमर कहता था यही माँ है अली अकबर की, शिमर कहता था यही माँ है अली अकबर की, जिसका एक हाथ कलेजे पे धरा रहता है, जो भी मसरूफ सना में शाहदा रहता है, तो वो रहता नहीं पर नाम सदा रहता है। रोके ये हिंद की बेटी ने सकीना से कहा, रोके ये हिंद की बेटी ने सकीना से कहा, रोके ये हिंद की बेटी ने सकीना से कहा, सर तेरा किस लिए हर वक्त खुला रहता है, जो भी मसरूफ सलाम में शाहदा रहता है, वो तो रहता नहीं पर नाम सदा रहता है। शाम होती है तो ऊंटों से उतरते हैं हरम, शाम होती है तो ऊंटों से उतरते हैं हरम, शाम होती है तो ऊंटों से उतरते हैं हरम, पर सरे शाह हाथों नेज़े पे चढ़ा रहता है, जो भी मसरूफ सल्लल्लाहु मुहम्मद Now I would like to request Esna to please come to sing. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
बर हबीब खुदा खत्म अंबिया वाज़ बुलंद सलवात।
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
और एक इससे भी जागते हुए सलवात का सहारा दे जनाब।
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
कैद में जब भी सुना लफ्ज़ रिदा ज़ैनब ने, कैद में जब भी सुना लफ्ज़ रिदा ज़ैनब ने, तुमको अब्बास बहुत याद किया ज़ैनब ने, कैद में जब सुना लफ्ज़ रिदा ज़ैनब ने, तुमको अब्बास बहुत याद किया ज़ैनब ने, कैद में जब सुना परचम के पररे में छुपा लो मेरा सर, अपने परचम के पररे में छुपा लो मेरा सर, दिल ही में कैसी बार कहा ज़ैनब ने, दिल ही दिल में ये कही बार कहा ज़ैनब ने, कैद में जब भी सुना छीनने वालों ने को नेज़ों से सितम कर न पड़ा, छीनने वालों को नेज़ों से सितम कर न पड़ा, इतनी मजबूती से था तेरी ज़ैनब ने, इतनी मजबूती से थामी तेरी ज़ैनब ने, कैद में जब भी सुना आया बस कहाँ देर तलक रोती रही, हाय बस कहाँ देर तलक रोती रही, बेरिदा दस्त में जब पानी पिया ज़ैनब ने, कैद में जब सुना ज़ख्म जिंदान रसन कैद गरीबुल वतनी, ज़ख्म जिंदान रसन कैद गरीबुल वतनी, जिंदगी जी है के खाती है सजा ज़ैनब ने, जिंदगी जी है के खाती है सजा ज़ैनब ने, कैद में जब भी सुना तेरे गिरने से गिरी थी मेरे सर की ये रिदा, तेरे गिरने से गिरी थी मेरे सर की ये रिदा, आके अब्बास के लाशे पे कहा ज़ैनब ने आके अब्बास कहला शेप कहा ज़ैनब ने कैद में जब भी सुना उम्र अकबर की बढ़े सोच कर अपने बेटे उम्र अकबर की बढ़े सोच के अपने बेटे वो दिया भाई के बेटे पे फिदा ज़ैनब ने कर दिया भाई के बेटों पे फिदा ज़ैनब ने कैद में जब भी सुना उसके जख्मों में कई बार हुए जख्म नहीं उसके जख्मों में कई बार हुए जख्म नहीं फिर नहीं छोड़ा कभी फर्श अज़ाज़ ज़ैनब ने फिर नहीं छोड़ा कभी फर्श अज़ाज़ ज़ैनब ने कैद में जब भी सुना लफ्ज़ रिदा ज़ैनब ने कैद में जब भी सुना लफ्ज़ रिदा ज़ैनब ने But Habib Khuda Khatm mein bhi आवाज
I have to recite the mercy, but I can't. That's it. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala
He's making Hassan. He's making a phone call and
Yeah, we're going to recite. Syamak, you can recite a little bit. 2 minutes. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Yes. Hassan, you can come. Oh, yes. Get the one, and then just one second. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. You sit down. No, this way. Good. Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Al-Qayyum wa ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa nawm. Wa ma fis samawati wa ma fil ardi. Man zawfi yashra'i innahu ila bi'iznihi. Ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum. Wa la yuhituna bishay'in min ilmihi illa bima sha'a wa sha'a kursiyuhu samawati wal ardi. ولا يهدر يسوم وهو أو يلزم وأقام في الدين كتبين الرشد من وعي ثم يغفر له ويؤمن بوعي فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى واعتصم بها والله سميع عليم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
نسیم سحر کربلا نسیم سحر کربلا سلام علیک نفس سید الشهداء سلام بیرق سیاه گنبد سلام کتیبه ها و پرچم سلام ماه ماتم سلام بر محرم سینه زنات و دوست دارم شال ازاد و دوست دارم به جون مادرم آقا کرب و بلا تو دوست دارم آی نسیم سحر کربلا آی تپش های دل عاشقان سلام علیک حرم سید الشهداء سلام گریه های بیراده سلام ای مصیبت دو عالم سلام نوح و در سلام بر محرم همه جا محفل عشق روزه ها مقتل عشق همه زندگیمون اینه دهه آخر عشق دهه آخر عشق ای نسیم سحر کربلا سلام علیک نفس سید الشهداء سلام علیک نفس سید الشهداء سلام
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Now salawat. Qibla ijazat hai, just recite, taking few minutes. Salam ke Chana Shah and then also of course. Mustafa और मुर्तजा एक जान है, इंसान दो मुर्तफा और मुर्तजा एक जान है, इंसान दो अरे लाख चाहो नहीं सकते कभी, इंसान दो मुस्तफा और मुर्तजा एक जान है, इंसान दो अरे एक तरफ इश्क़े मोहम्मद, एक तरफ बुग़्ज़े अली, एक तरफ इश्क़े मोहम्मद, एक तरफ बुग़्ज़े अली। और ए मुसलमान सच बता क्या है तेरे ईमान दो मुस्तफा और मुर्तजा एक जान है, इंसान दो रे फातिमा की गोद में हसनैन भी है इस तरह, फातिमा की गोद में हसनैन भी है इस तरह रे, ही जुज़दान में मौजे इस तरह कुरान दो मुस्तफा और मुर्तजा। Smart say guys, actually Maulana का time तो already हो चुका है, but just waiting for some more people. जिंदा में जाके दुखरे शाबिर मर गई, दुनिया से दाफतन सफरे खुल्द कर, कुनबे के दिल पादा जुदाई का दर गई, गुल पड़ गया हुसैन की आशिक गुजर गई, अरे गुल पड़ गया हुसैन की आशिक गुजर अरे जन्नत बसाई देख के दुनिया के बाग को ताजा किया है फिर अली असगर के दाग को ताजा किया है फिर अली असगर के अरे बाजू हिला के बानुए नाशाद ने कहा बीबी पिदर के सर से उठाओ तो सर जरा बातें अभी तो करती थी सुबह साबित है बना जो हाय गज़ब सरोदार अरे मुंह देखते ही जिसका नक्शा बदल गया किस वक्त सांस रुक गई कब दम निकल गया जिंदा में जाके दुखरे
Before I request Qazwini to come tonight to lecture for us, I have a few important announcements. First, I want to request everyone to recite Surah Fatiha for the Mu'mineen Mu'minat who sponsored yesterday's Majlis and today's Majlis as well. So let's recite Surah Fatiha for their Mu'mineen and Mu'minat and with Allah sallallahu. Also, let's all read 5 times of my table for dua said in a way to keep the mother of Qazwini in our prayers for her to really come to good health, inshallah. So 5 times of my table. Amma yujibu musta'izada Amma yujibu Amma yujibu musta'izada wa yukshifu as-su' Amma yujibu musta'izada wa yukshifu as-su' Amma yujibu musta'izada wa yukshifu as-su' One more quick request. Can everyone please recite Surah Fatiha for the aunt of Akil uncle who passed away in Tanzania. So, and for all Mu'mineen Mu'minat who are in need of Surah Fatiha. So, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now I would like to request Qazwini to please come up here and please recite lecture for us. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala
Muhammad sallallahu.
Mike. Turn this off. Yeah, turn this off.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أنبياء الله جميعا وعلى سيدهم وخاتمهم حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. One of the most important principles of our faith is to invite others to the path of God. We are all missionaries. Islam one day started with only 3 individuals. For almost 3 days, the number of the monotheists who were worshipping God in the city of Mecca were only 3. The Prophet ﷺ, Imam Ali alayhi salam, and Lady Khadija bint Khuwaylid alayhi salam. But now the population is over 1.2 billion worldwide. Almost in every country, in every city, in every village, you can find some monotheists, some Muslims who submit to God. And this expansion came through missionaries, du'at, those who invite people to the path of God. And the da'iyah, the missionary, does not have to wear a turban like me or has a long beard. You don't even have to go to a seminary. A da'iyah is someone who understands Islam well, practices Islam, has perseverance and patience, open-minded, and dedication. Anyone who carries these qualities, these attributes, can invite people to the cause of Islam. In fact, he doesn't have to be very eloquent. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam tells his community, his followers, his students, he tells them, كونوا دعاة لنا بغير ألسنتكم. Invite people to our cause, to the cause of Islam and Ahlul Bayt, without your tongue, without your mouth. They said, how do we invite people if we don't use our speech, our tongue, our mouth? He said, this is what he said. He said, لِيَرَوْ مِنْكُمْ, when people look at you as being an example of al-wara' wal-ijtihad. Wara' means honesty. If you exhibit and demonstrate honesty, wal-ijtihad, diligence, was-salat, wal-khayr, perseverance, patience, then they get attracted to you. They look at you as being the embodiment of goodness. Sometimes we think that we can invite only with our rhetoric, with our speech. The louder we are, the more powerful we become. But that is not necessarily the case. I know some Maulanas, they are very loud, but even their kids don't follow them, their kids. Their own biological children are somewhere else. It's not about shouting. It's not about, you have a loud voice. It's about our behavior, our ikhlas. Imam al-Sadiq begins with this word, wara'. Wara'. Wara' means piety, righteousness. It means honesty. It means you have only one face. You don't have double face. It means you are in a private and public, you are the same, you are not different. That is the best equality. The best equality of a believer, the believer is the one that in a private or public is exactly the same. He doesn't pretend to be something that he's not. He acts natural. He acts himself. He's himself. He does not pretend to be something important, someone holy, while he's not holy. This means honesty. And the hadith tells us that you don't have to do all the good deeds in this universe. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam says, أخلص قلبك يكفيك القليل من العمل. Be honest, have ikhlas, earnestness, sincerity, ikhlas. Don't cheat, don't be dishonest. Even little work will be enough for you. يكفيك القليل من العمل. Do you remember the story of the person who asked the Prophet? I said it last night, I did not complete the story. We didn't have much time. He came to the Prophet, he said, I can't do nawafil. I come back home tired. I'm a breadwinner, I have a family. I work outside for long hours. By the time I eat, I come back home, I eat something and I drop dead in my bed. I can't stand for it. I love to do nawafil, salatul layl, qiyamul layl, tahajjud. I can't. Because the following day I have to go back to work. And I don't do extra fasting. I do fasting only in Ramadan. If Ramadan is 29, I do 29 days. Ramadan is 30 days, only 30 days. I can't afford more than that. I can't. I'm working. I get thirsty at work. I need to sustain myself. And I don't have extra money to pay for charity. I don't have. I barely, the money I make, I spend on my kids. I have many kids at home. So I don't do sadaqah. I don't do charity. I don't donate to Al-Murtaza Center. I don't. So do you think I will make it to Jannah, to paradise? Do you think? I'm not doing nawafil, I'm not doing extra fasting, I'm not doing extra charity. With this limited amount of work I do you think this is sufficient? This will take me to paradise? The Prophet took some minute to think. He didn't answer him yes or no. He dropped his head and then he raised his head. He said yes. Yes, provided that you promise me to do 6 things. If you do these 6 things, I will hold your hand. تَدْخُلُ مَعِيَ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. I will take you with me into paradise. With me. Not behind me, with me. This is big. To be with the Prophet, Rasulullah. To enter paradise with him, this is not easy. He said, of course, Ya Rasulullah, I will do them. What are they? The Prophet said, أن تحفظ قلبك. 6 things. Remember, 6 items. First, to maintain and protect your heart, قلبك, من الغل والحسد. Protect your heart against hate and envy and jealousy. Keep your heart clean. Don't hate people. Even your enemies, you are not supposed to hate them. You know how many times we commit a sin a day? You know how many times the mankind today, they commit violations, they break the law, they commit sins, but God does not hate them. God may hate the act, but not the person. There's a difference. There's a difference between hating the person himself or herself or hating their bad act. Yes, we hate the bad act, the evil act, but we don't hate the person. Because the person today could be a sinner, but tomorrow he could be wali of awliya Allah, a closer friend of God. Life changes. And sometimes a person is wali today, but then in another test he fails. We've been told that Iblis was worshipping God. He was part of the worshippers. He joined the ranks of the angels. This is why when God ordered the angels to bow down to Adam, He was with them. He's jinn. He's from the jinn. But because of his worshipping, he joined the angelic club. But he failed in that test. Why he failed? Because of jealousy. خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. You made me of fire. You made Adam of clay, and fire is better than clay. This is his analogy. He refused. He failed. This is why, my friends, always ask God, always, every single day, that God make my last days of my life the best. My last hours the best before death. So when I leave with the best iman, with the highest level of iman. This is thabbitni. We always say strengthen me. Because some people, they have iman in the beginning, but they lose it at the end. Why they lose it? Because they fail in tests. This dunya is a test. Money is test. Health is test. Your children, innama amwalukum wa awladukum fitna. Your wealth and your children, your family are fitna. Fitna means test. Opposed someone who did not have a job, all of a sudden they tell him you are wazir in this cabinet, in this government. I've seen this in Iraq, my country. People who are with me in England, in America, they lived on welfare. All of a sudden, he's a minister of transportation. He's a minister of this. They forgot everything. They forgot their families, their friends, even they forgot religion. They failed in that test. Life is test, my friends. Life is a big test. We should make sure that we remain strong. We don't fail in these tests. Sometimes God gives you children, He's testing you. What to do, how to do. Sometimes God does not give you children. Also, He's testing you. Sometimes God gives you money to test you what to do with that wealth. Sometimes He doesn't give you money also to test you. Sometimes He gives you a son, a daughter, then He takes them away. Again, this is a test. Life is about imtihan every single day. So the Prophet said to him, if you guarantee that you keep your heart clean from two things, don't hate people. When you go home, when you go to bed, you put your head on the pillow, you don't hate anyone. Even those who wronged you. Say, Allahumma, oh God, forgive them. This was the manner of Prophet Muhammad himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 13 years, constant torture to the Prophet, Quraysh, day and night. He leaves his house, he invites them to guidance, to God, to worship God, and they answer him with what? With rocks, big rocks, and he bleeds. But he never curses his community. He always said, Allahumma hdi qawmi fa innahum la ya'lamun. Oh Lord, guide them because they are ignorant. And this is not easy, my friend. Someone who's hitting you with rock and then you pray for him, it's not easy, believe me. But it requires a lot of self-control, a lot of piety, a lot of connection with God. If the heart is filled with love for God, then you can do it. If not, we fail. So the first thing God said, the Prophet said to him, keep your heart clean from hate and envy. Envy is very dangerous. When you see someone in your family, in your community, in your class, being successful, he achieved success, material success, and then you look at him, he has a different house, he has a better house, a better car, a better job, a better income, better children, and then sometimes Shaitan comes to you and whispers, or wish evil for this person. Wish that his son dies, wish that his car gets into accident. This is the Shaitan. Shaitan comes to destroy, always to destroy. Always to destroy the relationship between the husband and the wife, between two friends, between two brothers, between the father and his son, two neighbors, between the mu'mineen. And sometimes we give in, we fail. We don't realize that this is the shaitan is whispering in my ears. I have to shut him off. So keep your heart clean. And you can do it, believe me. It's not a miracle. All what it requires, more training, more taqwa. Why do we fast in Ramadan? My friends, many Muslims do not know why we fast. They think all what God wants them to do is to abstain from eating and drinking, and then at the time of iftar, eat everything. Ya Ali, and they forget the purpose of fasting. God says the purpose of fasting, not to deprive you from eating or drinking. This is symbolic. The purpose, real purpose of fasting, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ in Surah Al-Baqarah. لَعَلَّكُمْ, you may reach piety, righteousness. You may achieve righteousness. Righteousness means your heart is clean. You are connecting with God. You wish goodness for all people. So when you see someone successful, say, oh Allah, I am happy for that person. I am happy he got a new job, new house, new car, new money, new whatever. As you made him successful, made me too. This is okay. This is perfectly okay. But don't wish evil to anyone. The heart is the seat of love, is the seat of affection. Do not contaminate your heart. Keep it healthy. We have cardiologists here. Cardiologists, they take care of your physical heart. The Quran says there is something more into the physical heart. There is the spiritual heart. Keep it clean. Keep that heart clean. If it is clean, you will be successful in your life. You will not fail. So the Prophet said these two things. Keep your heart away against ghil. Ghil means hate, and hasad means envy. The second, keep your tongue clean from two things. From kadhib and ghiba. Kadhib, lies, and ghiba, backbiting. This is another disease. Another moral disease. Some people are used to lying. They enjoy lying, even if it is not necessary. There is no need for him to lie, but he enjoys lying. And some people enjoy backbiting. And these are two worst sins. When you backbite your community members, your friends. In front of them, you are so nice, you are friendly, you express love and respect. As soon as they leave, you start, chasing them. It's not good. You know who's the first casualty? It's not that person that you are backbiting him. It's yourself. You're going to lose. You're going to lose self-respect. One day you wake up and you have no respect for yourself. And you lose the respect of the community. If we have something to say about someone, let's face him and tell him in his face. If he does something bad, you don't like it, call him, meet him somewhere by himself, not in public. Tell him, I don't like this and this about you. There is no need to backbite. It's not good. أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. God gives a terrible example. He says, backbiting means when someone, your brother, your friend is dead, and you eat his flesh. Do you like to eat his flesh? Nobody does this. It destroys relationships in the society. God says, I want you to work on relationships. Get people closer to each other. Do not set them apart from each other. This is not good. Anything that brings people closer, work on that. And don't lie. You don't have to lie. Imam Ali alayhi salam has a wonderful hadith. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, لا يذوق أحدكم حلاوة الإيمان. None of you is going to taste the sweetness of faith, of Iman. Iman is sweet, but not all people are enjoying this sweetness. Not. When some people lose the sense of taste, Some of those who were infected with COVID, they lose the sense of smell and also the sense of taste. They eat delicious food, mashallah, spicy food, but they don't feel it. They lost the sense of taste. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, no one is going to taste the sweetness of faith until what? He says, حتى يؤثر الصدق حيث يضره على الكذب حيث ينفع. Until he abandons, until he embraces, prefers صدق, speaking the truth, where it is going to hurt him. If he speaks the truth, he's going to lose. And if he tells lies, he's going to win. But he says, no, I have principles and values. I know some people who go for interviews. They tell me, Maulana, can I lie in the interview? They're going to ask me many questions. Citizenship interview, job interview, whatever interview, school interview. I say, it's up to you. If you think you're going to get the job, the money, and money is more important for you than values, then you may lie. But if values are more important than anything else, you should not lie. Put your values first. We are not animals. We eat any food. We work any job. We are human beings. We have honor. We have dignity. We have values. We should not sacrifice these values for a job interview, for this, for that. Speak the truth. If you tell lies, you may win in the beginning. But if you tell the truth, you will win forever. Your win is not going to be temporary. And also you send positive messages to your children. You know, a father who tells lies, he loses respect first with his children. His wife, his children, they are not going to respect him. They know he's a liar. First, he loses respect at home before outside, at home. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, give preference to truth, even if the truth is going to hurt you. Say, I have values. Don't tell lies. Lies are disgrace. One day people are going to discover. You cannot hide it forever. One day people are going to realize. Then you lose the trust. You know, sometimes I do marriage counseling. And some wives come to me and says, I'm not going to live with this man anymore. I tell them, you have kids, you have a future, let's look at your kids. She says, no, Sayyid, I lost the trust. I don't trust this person anymore. And when the trust is lost, there is no marital life. There is no friendship anymore. Because what brings people together, friends together, spouses together, is the trust. If that trust is broken, it is going to be broken forever. There is no restoration. There is no restoration. So the Prophet says to him, keep your mouth away from two things. Maintain it clean from kadhib, lying, telling lies, and from what? Backbiting. So these are four. What are the other two? So he spoke about the heart, keeping the heart clean, keeping the tongue clean, and then keeping what? The eyes. Ahsantum, mashallah. Smart ladies. The Prophet said to him, keep your eye clean from ma harram Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything that is haram, don't look at it. There are many things that we are not supposed to look at them. There are some scenes, whether they are live or on YouTube or in a movie theater or outside or inside, that we should not look. God says in chapter 24, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Cast down your eyes. Don't. When something is haram, don't look. Don't tell me that person is doing it in public. She's walking in public. No. She's wrong. You should not be wrong. The wrong is not corrected by another wrong. You have to have control. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, غضوا أبصاركم, cast down your eyes, ترون العجائب. You're going to see the mysteries of this universe. Imam Ali alayhi salam tells his companions, now I am here still on earth, I can see paradise and hellfire right before my eyes. These curtains are removed because there are curtains on our eyes. Prevent us from seeing the truth, like this curtain. Why he reached this stage? He's a human being. He eats the same food. He sleeps in the same bed. But he had control over his desires. He does not look at things that are haram. If it is haram, he stays away from it. Because this is contamination. Some people may ask, what's wrong with looking at someone who's naked, of opposite gender or same gender? This will create contamination. You don't feel it immediately, but it will contaminate your heart. My friends, millions of people that have been infected with COVID-19, did they see the virus? Did they see it? They didn't see it. They didn't feel it. They didn't feel it. It's microscopic. But it did affected them. And some of them died. I just received now, before I was coming to the Majlis, one of my friends in Shiraz passed away of COVID-19. Just 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Thousands of people are dying. They did not see the virus, but it's a reality. Same thing, when people look at bad scenes, it will contaminate their heart, their soul. They don't see it, but they will see the result. What is the result? Show me one of the results. The result is when time comes for prayers, he's lazy. He doesn't want to pray. At time of Fajr, he knows that this is time of Salat al-Fajr. He says, no, I'm tired, I'm asleep. I'll do it, qada, maybe another time. When it comes to wajibat, he becomes lazy. Why? Because the heart, the soul is contaminated, is ailing. It's not fresh. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. So this is number one. He said to him, protect your eyes from looking into anything that is haram. And sometimes the haram, my friends, we only think that of photos and movies and pornography and pictures. No, not only that. Sometimes there is a friend who's sitting next to you. He has a paper, let's say, a letter, an email, or an iPhone. Some women spy on their husband's iPhone. Some husbands spy on their women's iPhone. Communication, emails, without their permission. It's haram. It's illegal. This is a privacy. Yes, she is your wife. Yeah. But without her permission, you cannot check her iPhone. Without his permission, you cannot check his email, his letters. This is called a privacy. We have to respect privacy. In this country, the other day I called the bank. I took my son to open a bank account for him. He's a minor. Then a few days later, I wanted to change something on his bank account, and I'm the father, biological father. The guy tells me, you have no right without the permission of your son. I said, he's my son. I opened it. I gave him the money. I deposited. He said, I know. But without it, this is a privacy. This is good. I respect this. Privacy. You know how many divorces I've seen that happened in our community because one of them spies on the other. When you spy, you are going to see something that you don't like. And then the trust is broken and the war erupts and they go into a court and the kids are going to lose. Something which is haram, I don't look. Even if your friend sitting next to you, his desk is next to you, he has some document, without his or her permission, don't look at these documents. You have no permission. You have no permission to go and search his clothes to find a piece of paper or note or things like that. So this is also part of looking at what is haram. Privacy, respect people's privacy. Now some mothers would ask me, is it okay to go into my son's room if I suspect that he's doing something? He's having a relationship. He's eating something. he's smoking something, he's drinking something, am I allowed to go into his or her room to check on them? There are exceptions. If you are a mother raising a son who's still under your custody, he's not independent, he still lives under his parents' custody, the parents spend on him, okay? He's dependent on his or her parents, and you really have strong reason to suspect that he's doing drugs, for instance, you have a strong evidence, then you may do so for his protection. If you think you can protect, but if you think you cannot protect, he says, I'm independent, I'm an adult, I'm 22, I'm 25, I'm 30. And there is no benefit in going and checking his room, then don't do that. Don't do that. The second thing the Prophet said, keep your eyes clean from whatever is haram. And the second thing he said, وَأَن تَزْدَرِيَ بِهِمَا مُسْلِمًا, and also to look down. Keep your eyes clean from looking down and scorning with your eyes, with your look. Do you hear people here say, in this country, he gave me dirty look? Dirty look, huh? Don't give people dirty look. Don't tell people that I am richer than you with your eyes. I am more knowledgeable. I am more noble. I am Sayyid, you are not Sayyid. I am from this family, you are not from this family. I am from this race and country, you are not from this race. You are lower than me. Don't do this. Don't waste your time on these things. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. When it comes to God, God does not have a preference for nationality or ethnicity. This is the akhlaq of the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. With the Prophet, you can see someone who's a black. Bilal alayhi salam was a black. The Prophet chose him to be his mu'adhin, to raise the adhan 5 times a day. And Bilal could hardly say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. He would mispronounce it. He would say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. So some of those arrogant Arabs came to the Prophet, Sahaba, who had a pride and a prejudice. They said, Ya Rasulullah, would you remove Bilal? He's African, he cannot even speak proper Arabic. He says, Ashhadu, he cannot say Ashhadu. The Prophet said, Sinu Bilalin, Shinun indallah. Yes, he says Ashhadu, but when it reaches God, it will convert into Ashhadu, proper Arabic. This is a lesson from the Prophet. The Prophet kept him as his mu'adhin, official mu'adhin of the Prophet. And he remained the mu'adhin of the Prophet until the death of the Prophet. When he saw Abu Bakr coming to power, he said, no, this is not what we agreed upon. He said, we gave bay'ah to Ali ibn Abi Talib the day of Ghadir. Now I see another one standing in the place of the Prophet. I'm not going to do adhan anymore. He quit and he travels to Syria. He goes far away from Medina, because he was loyal to Ali ibn Abi Talib and Fatima al-Zahra. There is no room for discrimination and racism and prejudice and bias and I am superiority, inferiority. We all are the creatures of God. Whether you are born in India or Iran or Egypt or Paris or Las Vegas or Greenville, South, it doesn't matter. The land belongs to God. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Yes, when you have more commitment, more faith, more responsibility, more service, more ikhlas, then you are closer to God. Some people think by them just being born Sayyid, it gives them a privilege, special a privilege, even if he does munkarat. I know in some communities, he drinks alcohol, he doesn't pray, he doesn't believe in God, but he's Sayyid. Wow, what a lovely Sayyid. Sayyid, he comes to, I am like you, I'm your cousin, I'm Sayyid. What would Sayyid do to you? In fact, it's more dangerous, because you are saying I'm the grandson of the Prophet, but you are not following your grandfather. These 6 things, the Prophet said to the man, you don't need to do more prayers, more fasting, more. If you have these 6 things, I will hold your hand and take you with me into paradise. Islam is about values. Islam is not about quantity, more prayers, more fast. Islam is about equality. أخلص قلبك, be sincere, be dedicated, be honest. يكفيك القليل من العمل. Small amount of work is enough if you have ikhlas. I know in some Muslim countries people go back and forth to the mosque 5 times a day. 5 times. Going and coming. Go to Mecca and Medina and Seafood. And other countries. Back and forth, back and forth. But in the market they quarrel. They lie. They don't tell you that. They abuse someone who's immigrant, someone who's poor, someone who's not from their nationality. They discriminate against him, against her. They insult people, human beings in public, openly. They practice racism. Don't we suffer from racism in this country? There are more racism elsewhere, believe me. Look at how they deal with the workers in their countries. Workers who come from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from other countries. How they are mistreated. Is this Islam? This is not the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. My friends, the best way to invite is through our amal and our deed. Someone comes to the Prophet when God sent this verse. God sent this verse upon the Prophet. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة. O who you believe, protect yourself and your families against the hellfire on the day of judgment. So this man, a Sahabi companion, came to the Prophet. He said, Ya Rasulullah, ajastu an ahli, ajastu an nafsi wa kulliftu ahli. I could barely practice Islam. Now God wants me to take care of my family. I can't. Too much for me. I barely practice Islam. How can I ask my wife and my kids? I really can't do that. The Prophet smiled. Most of the time, the Prophet would smile. Unlike many mashayikh who always frown, alhamdulillah. The Prophet said to him, don't worry. حسبك أن تأمرهم بما تأمر به نفسك وتنهاهم عن ما تنهى نفسك. Meaning, be an example for your family. You don't have to stand and preach every morning and tell them what to do, what not to do. Be a good example at home. Be a model for them. They follow you. That's it. God is not asking you above this. God wants you to be an example. If you're an example, they look at you. They look at the father, the mother, being honest, being clean, being authentic, being simple in their life, not being materialistic. They do not fight over dunya, over money. That's it. God does not want you to climb Mount Everest so you can go to paradise. Things that are doable. A mother came to me the other day. Her son was 12 years old. She said, this son of mine, whenever he gets money, any amount of money, be it $10, $100, $1,000, on occasions, on Eid, the father gives him a friends, uncles, whatever. Immediately he comes to me, he says, Mom, I'm going to divide this money into 3 sections. 1/3, 33%, I give it to the poor people. There is a box for the poor and the needy, charity. The other 1/3 is for me to use now. I want to buy things. I want to buy, whatever, games, electronic games, Xbox. Help me, Riza, what else? Xbox and what? Yeah, these X's. God knows how many they are. I can't count them. And the 3rd part of it, I save it for my college. See? I said to her, congratulations for having this son. This son is paving the way for himself for paradise tomorrow. This is the path for paradise. She says before he uses his portion, he says, Mom, this is for the poor and needy. Give it to those who deserve. The second is for me. The third is saving for my future. This is Islam, my friends. This is piety. This is righteousness. This is akhlaq. No more than that, believe me. Simple things. But it requires self-control because shaitan always comes to us. No, don't give. Don't spend. Don't donate. Don't contribute. Keep it for yourself. Who knows what you need tomorrow? This is the shaitan. Shaitan is whispering. Walking the walk and talking the talk. That's the best thing. This is how we invite people to our faith. We don't need to go into demonstrations and shouting and yelling and saying this is kafir, this is mushrik, this is infidel, this is whatever. You don't need to do what Taliban are doing today. You don't. Do what Ahlul Bayt did. Ahlul Bayt, when someone comes to them and curses them in their face, Imam al-Baqir walking in Medina, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam walking in the streets of Medina, his birthplace, his home, his town. He's the grandson of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Someone who comes from Syria being brainwashed by the Syrian regime of the time, Muawiyah, Bani Umayyah, he comes and he curses Imam Hassan. Imam Hassan does not get it. Some of his companions, they say, give us permission, we go and hit this man and destroy his mouth and his teeth. And then he turns to the man, he tells him, if you need a shelter, we have a house. If you are hungry, we have food. If you need money to go back to your home, to your family, we will give you money. If you have any need, any sort of need, come to me, ask, don't hesitate. The man was dumbfounded. The man was shocked. I am cursing him. I am cursing this man and cursing his father Ali. He's saying to me, if you need any help, if you need food, if you need shelter, what sort of person? This is an angel. He says to the Imam, Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatah. God knows best who to choose for his message. He was brainwashed by Muawiyah for so many years. They portrayed Ahlul Bayt as criminals. I mentioned the story last night. Imam Zain al-Abidin, when he arrives in Damascus, a man, an old man, he's leaving the mosque, he stands before him and he starts cursing him and praising Yazid and Muawiyah. This is the propaganda machine of Bani Umayyah. The Fox channel of Bani Umayyah. But Ahlul Bayt were patient. And this is today we read this verse. Idfa' billati hiya ahsan. God says at time of conflict, the best conflict resolution is to use the best method. Idfa' means avert drama, avert conflict, avert tragedy, avert the fight, the war, with what is good. Billati hiya ahsan. With good manners, with forgiveness. فَإِذَا الَّذِي, if there is animosity between you and him, فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ, you can convert him through your good manners, perseverance, akhlaq, forgiveness. كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ, you can turn him into an intimate, close friend. وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. But then God says something else. Doesn't come free. God says you require a lot of training for this. وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا. This stand and this position and this gift, no one can get it free. وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا except الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. Those who have patience. وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا ذُو حَظٍّ عَظِيمٍ. Those who have patience. And this requires exercise, my friends. We do not become patient overnight. There is no tablet that you take, it's called patience tablet. You wake in the morning, you are patient. No. You have to train yourself. Train. Do you know those bodybuilders? They spend time in the gym building their muscles. Takes time. Takes months, years to build their bodies. We need to build our souls. And it takes time. Someone came to me the other day, he said, I started praying for a few weeks, nothing happened in my life. I said, you just started a few weeks. You have to be patient. Even the tree, when you plant a tree here, the fig tree, how long it takes to give fruits? Take some time. Wait, be patient. وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. Sabr. Ask Allah to bestow patience on you, perseverance, steadfastness. So when someone insults you, when someone does bad thing to you, you are patient. You are patient. Imam Hussein on the day of Ashura was seen with tears in his eyes. Lady Zainab alayhi salam, she asked him, Yabna Rasulullah, are you afraid of death because you are dying soon? He said, no, not because of me. I am crying for those people. Because soon they're going to murder me and they're going to receive damnation. I am sorry for them, not for myself. He was crying for his enemies. This is Imam Hussein. Do we learn from him? Do we? We should learn from Ahlul Bayt, from our Imams. This is why we are Shia. Shia means a follower of an example. Those are our examples in our lives. We must follow them, follow their examples. This is how we can invite others to our faith. كونوا لنا دعاة صامتين. With silence you can invite. Sometimes I say to some friends, you don't have to go and tell people outside, the American people, your friends, that I'm a Muslim. You don't have to tell them with your tongue. You can tell them with your character, with your akhlaq. When your house is neat, clean, organized, your office, your desk, even the way you drive, there are many people who are ignorant in the streets. Do you have to retaliate and drive like them? No. The way you drive. The way sometimes you are silent. People are cursing you, but you are silent. I saw a scene right before my eyes. We were in Hajj one year, and you know, in Hajj sometimes it gets hectic. So someone came and he was cursing the mudir of the caravan, the director of our caravan, right in the lobby of the hotel with loud voice, shouting, cursing, all sorts of things. And this person, the mudir, the director of the caravan, was silent. Silent. I thought that he's deaf. He's not listening. But he's not deaf. He's not. And then 2 days later, the same man who was cursing him came to him. He was trying to kiss his hand, apologizing to him. He said, allow me to kiss your hand. Why? He said, because I was cursing you and you were silent. You didn't answer. Silence sometimes is the best answer, my friends. Best answer. When husband and wife, they get into a fight, I always tell them, one of you has to be silent. Don't answer. You don't have to answer. You don't have to be Aristotle, a philosopher, to answer everything. You don't have. Sometimes silence. Silence is the best answer. Be patient. Leave the room. Don't answer. Diffuse this tension. Through your silence, sometimes you can teach people. Through your silence, you can attract them. You don't have to speak all the time. How much time do we have? 15 more minutes or 10 more minutes?
10 more minutes.
Give me some discount, please.
Tomorrow.
Okay, 10 or 15 minutes, I will say an important hadith. This hadith is narrated by Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. But he attributes this hadith to his grandfather, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. are the qualities of a refined person, an integrated person, a good mu'min. These are the qualities. من عاشر الناس فلم يظلمهم. Whoever you see in the community lives among people, among his family members, friends, community members, and he never abuses anyone. People feel safe always with that person. Sometimes the abuse is verbal, sometimes it's physical, and sometimes it's worse. It's worse than physical and verbal. It's mental disturbance, mental abuse, mental violation, mental violence. That person is safe always. They come to the Prophet, they said, Ya Rasulullah, who is the Muslim? Who is the true Muslim? He says, Al-Muslimu man salim al-nasu min lisanihi wa yadihi. A true Muslim is when all people are safe from his tongue and his hand. No verbal abuse, no physical abuse. He doesn't steal. He doesn't take something that does not belong to him. He doesn't hit anyone. He doesn't even threaten. He doesn't even show disrespect with his fingers to anyone. He doesn't do that. Neither he abuses anyone with his mouth. This is Islam. Believe me, if we can maintain only this quality, Islam would be dominating the entire earth. So the Prophet says, Man ashara an-nasa falam yadhlimhum. He lives in a community. He never abuses anyone in his life, even if he lives for 50 years. And I have seen myself. I'm not speaking about Anbiya, messengers, prophets, imams, infallibles, ma'sooms, no. I've seen some ordinary people in our community. I've been knowing them for almost 25 years now. They never abuse anyone in them. Very peaceful. Extremely peaceful. Every person is happy with them. So this is number one quality. No abuse, no wrongdoing, no violations, no attack against anyone, no harassment of anyone. وَحَدَّثَهُمْ فَلَمْ يَكْذِبْهُمْ. When he speaks, he does not lie. He speaks the truth. وَحَدَّثَهُمْ فَلَمْ يَكْذِبْهُمْ. So you trust that person. You trust him. Sometimes in your family you have a son who tells lies, another son from the same family, under the same roof, who speaks the truth. Subhanallah. 2 children, 2 siblings in one family, 2 brothers. One of them is a liar, professional liar. He cannot lie, he cannot sleep in peace if he does not throw 20, 30 lies a day all over. The other one always speaks the truth, even if he does something wrong. This is what I tell my children always. I tell them, listen, children, when you do something wrong, come and tell me, don't hide it. If you tell me, if you share it with me, you don't hide it, no punishment at all. Not even to get angry with you. But if you hide it, if you don't tell me, and then later on I discover, I'm not going to trust you. وَحَدَّثَهُمْ فَلَمْ يَكْذِبْهُمْ. That is the essence of Islam. Speak without telling lies. وَوَعَدَهُمْ فَلَمْ يُخْلِفْهُمْ. He gives a promise, a pledge to anyone, he does not fail them. He or she would fulfill the promise, fulfill the pledge. God says in Surah Al-Mu'minun, those who honor their promises. Those who honor their promises. وَأَوْفُوا بِالْعَهْدِ إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. We make a promises. Every single day we make a promise. When you married your wife, you made a promise to her family, I'm going to respect your daughter. I'm going to take care of her. She'll be safe with me. You have to remain true to this promise. After 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, you have to remain true. You promised her parents, even if her parents are dead now. But you made a promise. Remain true to your promise. When you worked for a corporation, a hospital, a school, a company, you made a promise, I'll be a good employee. I work from 9 to 5. You cannot steal out of that time. You cannot steal because you gave a pledge. You made a contract. These are contracts. These are promises. Sometimes we make a promise to those little kids. I'll take you to Disneyland. I'll buy you this. I'll do that. And then after 2 days, the kids come to his father. Where is Disneyland? Oh, I'm busy, because you were naughty, you were running around. I just wanted to shut your mouth. It's not good. It's not good. Remain true to your promise. When you make a pledge, when you sign something, sign a document, remain true to that document. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, I said this the other day in our mosque 2 weeks ago. When he was going to Kufa, he was intercepted by Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. Long story. To make it short, they reached a compromise that Imam Hussein does not continue to Kufa and Hur would not arrest him and take him to Ibn Ziyad in Kufa. They reached a compromise. After they signed the deal, Imam Hussein asked someone, is there any other road other than Kufa? Someone by the name of At-Tarimah ibn Uday. He said, yes, I am familiar with this Iraqi territory here. I am familiar with the desert. There is another road that does not go to Kufa. So Imam Hussein said, you lead our caravan until they reached the land of Karbala. Of course, the work of God was in progress. This is the plan of God that Imam Hussein reaches Karbala. And he gives his life on the soil of Karbala. After Hur left with his army of 10,000 fighters, someone came to Imam Hussein. He said, Ya ibn Rasulullah, I have another plan, another suggestion. Forget about Hur. Who's Hur? I know you signed an agreement with him. Here, nearby, we have a huge tribe who have 20,000 fighters that will fight alongside with you against him. Let's continue going to Kufa. Don't care about Hur. Imam Hussein said, so I signed the contract. The man said, but Hur is your enemy from Bani Umayyah. Imam Hussein said, even is it from Bani Umayyah? I have to respect my promise and my word. Even when you sign a contract with your enemy, since you put your signature, you respect that. You don't breach. This is why Imam Hussein is great. It's different from others. Others, whenever they gain power, supporters, they tear the paper, as Trump did here with the agreement with Iran. You remember? But when Ahlul Bayt, they put their signature on any agreement, any promise, they honor it. They honor it. الوفاء بالعهد وأوفوا بالعهد وأوفوا بالعهد إن العهد كان مسؤولا. Ahd means a promise. From now on, when you make a promise with your wife, with your kids, with a neighbor, with a stranger, with a contractor, with whatever, remain loyal. Fulfill it. This is real success. This is real Islam. This is how we invite people to our religion. This is how we show them. We become the embodiment of a truth and justice. The personification of a truth. When people look at your honesty, integrity, they get attracted. They get attracted. And this is how the Prophet was successful. I finished with this story, last story. The Prophet, when he was inviting people to Islam in Mecca, nobody was listening to him. One day he saw an old lady in the market. She went to the marketplace for shopping and she was carrying the goods. It was too heavy for her. So the Prophet came to her. He said, would you allow me to carry it for you? She said, yes, son, please, I can't. So the Prophet carried the goods for her. She did not recognize him. She did not recognize that he's the messenger of God. He did not introduce himself. And alhamdulillah, there was no Instagram to post a picture that I'm helping this elderly. Look at me now. Alhamdulillah. So when they reached her house, the Prophet puts the goods on the floor. He said to her, do you need any more help? She said, no. But you are a good man, a noble man. I have nothing to repay you, to compensate you for your good deed. But I have one thing to tell you. I have no money to give you, but I have an advice for you. The Prophet said, yes, I welcome your advice. She said to him, there is a new young man in our community that recently appeared. His name is Muhammad. He claims to be messenger of God, but he's a liar. Don't believe in him. I'm asking you not to get close to this man. This man is magician. As once you hear him, listen to him, you get attracted to him. So stay away from him. He's dangerous because he's asking us not to worship our idols. We've been worshiping these idols for so many years. Now he comes, he says, I'm the messenger of God. Don't believe in him. Stay away from him. The Prophet said to her, have you seen him yourself? She said, no, I haven't. Not yet, but I hear from people. This is what people say. He said to her, if you see him today, would you recognize him? She said, no, no, no. This is what I heard from my elders, my peers. The Prophet simply said to her, I am Muhammad. The lady said, you are Muhammad. Why didn't you tell me in the beginning? He said, because I wanted to help you for the sake of God. I did not even wait for a word of thanks or appreciation from you. I remained anonymous. I saw you struggling with your shopping cart. I wanted just to help you. She said, then what people are saying about you is wrong. You are a true person. You are a genuine. You are insan. You are insan. What I heard about you is wrong. And then you know what she said? She said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Sometimes we don't have to introduce ourselves. I am the philosopher, I am the speaker, I am the scholar, I am seminarian, I am the ustad, I am the mawla, the sheikh. You don't have to say this. You don't have. By simple acts of kindness, simple act of kindness, we can attract the hearts. Remember this, simple acts of goodness and kindness. You can attract people to the path of God. And this is what Ahlul Bayt did. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, with the blessings of Ahlul Bayt and Imam Hussein and the family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, to bestow on us the tawfiq, inshallah, to be good missionaries for Ahlul Bayt. Du'at, we invite people. We become good example, role models in our families, in our cities, in our communities, in our neighborhoods. So we can save, we can guide. And if you can guide, as I mentioned last night, one soul, one single soul, that is enough for you. وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. If you save one soul, as if you have saved the entire humanity. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah wa ala al-arwah allati hallat bi fina'ika wa anakhat bi rahdik. Alaykum minni jami'an salam Allahi abada. ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
Y'all say.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.
Abbas, 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 Abbas,
देता है तू अली का ज़हरा की तू दुआ है
शबीर तेरा का अम्मल बनीन माए हर सूरत चलन में हैदर से ना जुदा है ताश तुझसे कायम दुनिया में बस वफा है अब्बास 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 तेरे हरम को थामे हर शख्स कह रहा है मजलूम करबला का ज़ैनब का वास्ता है परदेसी कोई ऐसा परदेस में न उजड़े सदके में उसके जिसका घर बार लुट गया है अब्बास 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 इस वक्त जब के ज़ैनब दरबार में गई थी भारी नमाजियों से महफिल सजी हुई जालिम ये पूछता था काजी तेरा कहाँ है बालों से मुँह छुपाए ज़ैनब ये कह रही थी अब्बास 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 शामे गरीब में जिस काकुर का जल गया है कानों से मालिया भी ले गया है इस बेकसी से मौला बची कोई न कर से फर्शे अज़ा पे रोकर हर दिल ये कह रहा है अब्बास 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 पर्ची जिगर पे खाके अकबर भी सो रहे हैं कपती ज़मीं पे कासिम के टुकड़े चुन रहे हैं पकड़े कमर को अपनी मक़तल में देखते हैं तन्हा मैं रह गया हूँ रो रो के कह रहे हैं अब्बास 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 जितने भी अश्क मौला तेरे ताज पर गिरे हैं मासूम की कसम ये राजी फकत तेरे हैं जो कुछ रकम करूं मैं थोड़ा रकम हुआ है अल्फाज वो अता कर यावर से जो पढ़े अब्बास 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 अब्बास
And after that, we're going to be having some question and answer session. So please sit down here and then namaz, right? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا خليفة الكبرى والمؤمنين السلام عليك يا أسلام مصطفى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما تقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعل الله آخر وقت مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين السلام عليك يا شجاع كربلاء جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجابر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والهادي المهدي السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان الأمان 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 يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسخر الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك السلام عليك يا أبو بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد يا علي اللهم صل
عليه الصلاة We're starting the Q&A session in Kamala, and that will be concluded by prayers, and then we'll have the answers. Right now, we'll be here in a few minutes.
That's me, right? Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Yeah, I got it from. That's a 4K, right? I found this solution. I'm gonna go to those. You see something extension? I can change this whole with extension. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I will go to those. This is on Amazon, but I'm gonna see something similar. I can change this with a light like this. Our friend, he just sent me the picture for the speaker yesterday. I talked to him. Seven is the whole loud. There's the same kind of speaker is on the Japanese speaker. Yes. But we don't need too much loud sound. Are we ready? Oh yes. Yeah, we are ready.
عليه الصلوات اللهم صل على محمد. If I can request all Mu'mineen and Mu'minat, please get seated. Inshallah, we'll be starting the Q&A session. Allahumma.
Mahdi? Mahdi? Mahdi?
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Please, let's be quiet. But
be quiet so we can start. Brothers and sisters, please. Okay, we are gonna start taking. We'll take 2 questions from the lady side and 2 questions from the men's side, inshallah. We need a
Paper, paper. I
Just
have
to-
pen, only
okay.
paper.
What's that? It's working. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, this is what I have.
Yeah.
Can you?
Alice, a little bit higher? Okay. I don't know if the mic will reach there. Can you take the question from?
What question is it? Yeah, we want to know how the people say Yani mother was the writer.
Okay.
Other questions, if you take.
Any question from?
Yeah, so now
Okay, I would. Okay, go ahead. What is the question?
what is this?
Hold on, hold on.
We can use another one.
Is there any way or condition we can give the Haqqe Sada part of the foods to a non-Sada who is in dire need of it?
Okay. Yes, sister.
Okay, so I collected these questions from everyone on the lady side.
Bismillah.
So I collected these questions from everybody on the lady side. The first one is, if we see a spiritual personality in our dream, such as an imam or Islam or their family member, is it just because they're on our mind or because of religious?
In the dream.
Yeah. Or is there something more to it?
Okay.
And then my next question is, why is it that some people are convinced to wear hijab and there are other people who are not convinced to wear hijab, no matter what you do? And understanding that wearing hijab is not easy.
Okay.
Thank you.
عندنا قديش وقت؟ سؤالين آخر.
I have a question. We asked about the Salah. We know Maghrib and Isha, they start like about 15 minutes after the sunset. So if somebody could not pray Dhuhr and Asr, does the Dhuhr and Asr prayer become Qada at sunset or after the 15 minutes after the sunset?
What else? Any more? Yes, please.
My question is about that mahram and non-mahram. And we know in the Quran, there is a war, they be mahram together. But what is that means mahram and who are they are non-mahram and what they have to do if they are non-mahram. And especially when kids, they grow up like a cousin together and then grow up in the age of the and they get the responsibility. Do they have to keep them mahram between each other or no mahram between each other, or can be the same as before they play to each other before? And about that hijab for the kids when they grow up and or adults when they go to the work or go to the school.
And what exactly they have to do? Do they permission to don't use the hijab and go to the work or go to the school? Or Islam has some order for these adult or kids? They have to wear or not?
Thank you. One more question.
Any other question?
Well, the sister, your sister is before you. She raised her hand.
So I have one more question. So we're going for the Arba'in walk, inshallah, and so what are some of the best things that we can do during it? If you have any suggestions?
Okay, thank you. So, do you have a question? Yeah.
So I have a question. I was interested in this question. What time would it be? What time would it have to be for Bakr and Isha to be on Salah? Because I know like Fajr is one Asr. It's like Fajr is like sunrise, and one Asr is like sunset. What time would it have to be for Bakr and Isha to be on Salah?
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first question, are we allowed to say, Ya Ali Madad? Madad means help. Madad in Farsi, in Arabic, probably in Urdu too. Huh? Yes? Let me ask you this question. If I am sick, let's say I'm sick, can I say, oh doctor, help? Huh? Or my car I have a flat tire. I call AAA. Can I tell them, oh please, I need help. Please help me. Is this shirk if I say this? Why it's not shirk? Huh? I need help. But Allah is the one who helps. Why shouldn't when I have flat tire, why shouldn't I call Allah? Oh Allah, please help fix the tire for me. I'm asking. Can someone call Allah? Huh? Yes, you may say, oh Allah, help me. But is He going to fix the tire for you? So what He would do to you? Ahsan. He sends AAA. God says, listen, when you buy a car, I'm going to help you. But I don't come from there myself and help you. I have wasila. I have wasata, means. So if your car is broken, there is a mechanic. There is AAA. If your stomach is broken, there is a doctor. Call the doctor. If you have a problem in the ocean, swimming, and you are about to drown, then you have to call upon the lifeguard. These are means. So when we call upon them and I'm drowning, I say, lifeguard, please, please, help me. This is not shirk. At the same time, I'm praying to God. Maybe God will inspire that lifeguard. Maybe he's looking at that direction. All of a sudden, he looks here. He sees me drowning. And then he comes to my aid and rescue. This is not shirk. It's not shirk. Because we believe God is the generator of every act in this universe. Of every act. But God has agents. In the Quran, God says about the angels, وَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ أَمْرًا. Mudabbir means managers. God assigned them tasks. The task of the rain, the wind, the life, the death. Who comes to take the life of the people? Who? What is his name? Huh? Malakul. God says in the Quran, قُلْ وُكِّلَ بِكُمْ مَلَكُ الْمَوْتِ الَّذِي وُكِّلَ بِكُمْ. Malakul Maut is the one that's going to come. It means God cannot do this task. God can do it. But God created a system of what? This is His system in this universe. That there are means. He doesn't do that directly. He's a supervisor. He's the creator. He's the sustainer. But He has agents. Those agents work for Him. One of those agents is Imam Ali and Ahlul Bayt. So when you say, oh, Imam Ali, help, you are asking God for help, but through the means. Through a means. That means is called Imam Ali. So it's not haram. In the same way that it's not haram to say, oh, Dr. Madad, Dr. Madad, help me, lawyer Madad. Sometimes you call the cops, 911. You need help from them. Don't people call the cops, huh? 911, but don't call him on your wife, huh? Or your husband. No. So there is nothing wrong because those are means. The provider is God, but those are means. And this is why the Razzaq, the sustainer, is God. But God speaks about parents, the father and mother, of being Raziq, sustainer of the. It's in the Quran. وَارْزُقُوهُمْ فِيهَا وَاكْسُوهُمْ. You sustain your children. You as a father, a breadwinner, you have to do. Now, if you tell a Wahhabi that the father is Raziq, he says, oh, this is kufr. God is Raziq. No, but the Quran says, your father is also Raziq. Because he's the means. Yes, God is the one who provides. But who does the job practically? Is your father. Is the one who's sustaining his children. So this is number one. Can we pay Haqqu Sadat or Sahmu Sadat to non-Sayyid? See, my friends, Khums is divided into two parts. What is Khums? Khums is when you work, let's say you make $100,000 a month, okay? You spend $90,000, inshallah, of course. This is in California. I forgot I'm in South Carolina. Maybe 50,000. So you spend, let's say you make 50,000, you spend 40,000 for your expenses, you come up with 10,000 surplus extra, or 5,000, or 1,000. If you make a surplus of any amount, then you pay 20% of that surplus. If the surplus is, let's say, $10,000 a month, how much is that 20%? $2,000. If you make $1,000 a month extra, a year extra, then the surplus, the khums is what? Taxation is what? $200. If you don't make, you make 50,000, you spend all the 50,000. You don't have anything, no taxable amount, no khums. You don't have khums. This khums, let's say you make $10,000 extra, so you have to pay 2,000. These 2,000, 50% of them are Sahmul Imam. It goes to the masjid, local masjid, mosque. Wherever religion is being promoted, or you can print books, the Quran, Islamic books, or you can give it to an orphanage, to a hospital that serves the needy, to poor families, Sahmul Imam. Then we come to the other 50%, Sahmu Sadat or Haqqu Sadat, because Sadat are not allowed to take charity. The descendants of the Prophet are forbidden from taking sadaqah. They don't take. God made sadaqah haram upon the Prophet and his descendants. So they use this share, Sahmu Sadat. Now, if there are no more Sadats who are in need, then you may pay that money to people who are not saints. Okay? Seeing the prophets or the imams in our dream, is it because we always think about them, or there is another message behind it? Both are right. Sometimes when you keep thinking about someone, something, you may see that thing or that one or that person in your dream. This is one reason, because you are always thinking about that person. He's always on your mind, so you may see him also or her in your dream. Also, the second possibility is that this is a message that certain imam, if you can recognize, sometimes you don't, you know this is holy, you know he's an imam, but you don't know which imam is that. You know this is a holy lady, but you don't know, is she Lady Zainab, Lady Fatima alayhi salam, Lady Khadija, others, you don't know, you don't recognize them. But if you recognize them, or even if you don't recognize them, and you think this is one of the holy personalities, then you have to see what they said to you. Maybe they're going to send you a message. Maybe they're going to say, take care of your mother. Your mother who passed away, she's in need in the akhirah. And you are her son, you are her daughter. So you have to do thawab for them. The thawab, it could be prayers, it could be charity. The best type of thawab is charity. When you feed someone, when you clothe someone, an orphan, a poor, a needy, when you help them out, part of that act, and you send the thawab with the intention, niyyah, that I'm doing this on behalf of my father, my mother who passed away, my son, my daughter, my wife, my husband, then definitely God is good. Because this is the hadith of the Prophet. يَدْخُلُ عَلَى الْمَيِّتِ فِي قَبْرِهِ. The deceased in his or her grave, they receive acts of charity. It could be it could be feeding someone, clothing someone, helping someone out financially, or it could be Quranic recitation. It could be istighfar. It could be umrah. It could be hajj. It could be ziyarah. It could be prayers. They missed some of their prayers, you are praying. Even if they did not miss their prayers, you stand, you come to the masjid, 2 rak'ah, say, this is for the soul of my mother, for the soul of my parents. They get the credit. So maybe the holy person that you see in your dream is asking you to do something for your parents, for your relatives. Okay, this is an important question regarding hijab. 2 questions, in fact. People are different in the level of their faith and their commitment. People are different. People are not equal. Sometimes in the one family, you find 2 brothers, 2 sisters. They have different levels of faith and commitment. It's like a school. A school. 2 children, 2 brothers, they go to the same school. One of them gets always A+, the other one does not do. They eat the same food at home. They have the same mother, same father, same room, same house. One of them has more sense of responsibility, more commitment. The other is careless. So when it comes to religion, we have the same. Some people they have more commitment, more responsible to their religion. Some of them are less committed. When it comes to hijab, we see the same. I met some people who said, even if people don't like me outside, but since God said so, God said hijab is wajib in the Quran, 2, 3 places in the Quran, I'm following God. God is my boss. God is the one I'm responsible before him, not people. People are not the one who are feeding me or sustaining me. I do business with God, not with people. So I do that for the sake of God, even though it is difficult for me. And it is difficult. In this country, sometimes we only ask women to wear hijab, especially men. Oh, wear hijab, do this. But it's difficult. It's difficult. And they are human beings. And they have different capacities. They have different capacities. Sometimes it's normal. Like my state, Orange County, it's normal to see hijabis. Dearborn, Michigan, it's normal. Some parts of New York City, normal. But in some other parts, it's dangerous. It's not normal. It's really dangerous. It could put them at risk. So they need bigger motivation. They need to be convinced. People who are not convinced, they might observe hijab or prayers for a few days, few weeks, few months, but then they quit. They have to appreciate the meaning of hijab. They have to value the meaning of hijab. If they are forced, intimidated by the society, by their parents, they are not going to do it. They have to love it and appreciate it. If they don't love it, they don't do it. They will quit. So we have to tell them the benefit of hijab. We have to encourage them. We are a human being. We need encouragement. Everyone needs encouragement, including me. If you don't encourage me, I cannot continue my work. I will quit. We need encouragement. The young ones need, women need encouragement, men, all of us. You need to encourage your sister and your daughter and your wife. You need to encourage her. You need to remind them constantly that what you are doing is right. What you are doing is not only right for your akhirah, hereafter, it's right for this life. It gives you more value, more respect. Maybe some people outside, they're going to give you dirty look. Maybe. They're going to discriminate against you. but the rest of the society are going to respect you and admire you. One day I was asked by an American actress in an airplane. It happened that I sat next to her. I got upgraded to first class, alhamdulillah, by United Company. Once in a while they do this mistake, you know. So the lady was sitting next to me. She realized, she said, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "I am Imam." She said, "Imam? What is Imam?" I said, "Imam, like a priest, pastor." She said, "Wow, oh, tell me about Islam." So she was asking me questions. One question she asked me about hijab. She said, "Why do you disrespect Muslim women? Why do you confine them in this hijab?" I said, "But many of them, they observe hijab because they like it. They like it, we don't. I myself, I did not force my wife to observe hijab. I married her while she was hijab. Even my daughter, she's a lawyer now. I never said to her, not even one single day, that I want you to wear hijab. She loved it, she liked it. Even if I go to her today and I tell her, take off hijab, she would say, "No, Daddy, I'm not going to listen." She's not going to listen to me. So I said to her, this is a personal choice. Maybe some in Saudi Arabia, in Afghanistan, in other countries, they are forced, threatened, intimidated. But the vast majority of Muslim women, especially those who live in the West, they like it. It's a personal choice. She said, "Why? Tell me why they have to put on hijab." I said, "Listen, women are the source of attraction and beauty. Am I right or wrong?" I was telling her. She said, "Of course you are right." I said, if we men focus on her physical beauty only and we disregard her mental beauty, her spiritual contribution, then we are in fact disrespecting her. Because we are telling her that I like you just because the way you look. I don't like your brain, I don't like your heart, I don't like your soul, I don't like your character, I don't care about all these things. I don't care whether you are educated, non-educated, whether you are a contributor to your society or not. All what I care about is your hairstyle, is your body, is your physical structure. This is a disrespect. Why? Because in a few years from now, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, she's going to lose that. It's going to decline. Yes or no? It's going to decline. Then it means when she's not attractive enough anymore, I'm not respecting her. Whereas Islam says we have to give credit to women, not just because the way, only because the way how they look, because of their character, because of their personality, because of their importance in the society. Because without women, we cannot function. Without mothers, without wives, without daughters, without sisters, we cannot function. We need them. No man can function by himself without a partner. No man. Before your marriage, your mother is your main supporter. After marriage, your wife is supposed to be your supporter. Most of those successful men that you see, most of them, 90% of them, they are successful because of their wives, because of the support that their wives provide them. So if we respect her only because the way she looks, in fact, this is not real respect. This is disrespect. But if we don't care about the way she looks, we care about her soul, her character, her manner, her contribution, her role, then that is the real respect. This is why Islam says, try not to look only at her physical side. Look at her spiritual side too. You know what she said to me? I swear, Wallah, she was looking at me, listening, and I think people around us in the first class cabin were also listening to me. Because sometimes I lose control, I become loud, you know, when I'm enthusiastic. She said, when I finished, she said, wow, it makes sense. Makes sense. This is what she said. So some people are convinced. We have to convince them. And some other people, maybe they come from religious family, maybe her father is Maulana too. What can you do? Adam alayhi salam had to Qabil and Habil. One of them was righteous, he listened. The other, though the father is a prophet, he didn't listen. What can you do? Nuh alayhi salam had only one son, not more. He didn't listen. The father went after him one time, twice, three times, until the moment he was drowning. The father tells him, come and board the ship, the ark. He says, sa'awi ila jabalin ya'simuni min al-ma. Don't worry, I'm going to climb the summit of the mountain and I'm going to be safe. The father said to him, La asim al-yawma min amrillah. There is no safety. This is the wrath of God. Come and jump. Until God said to him, no, don't run after him. Enough. Innahu laysa min ahlik. He's not your son anymore. He could not convince him. He was able to convince strangers, but he could not save and convince his own son. It happens. And this is about free choice. Inna hadaynahu as-sabil. God says, we show him the way. Imma shakiran. Either he becomes grateful or ungrateful. Kafur. Now, tonight is Sunday. Okay? Sunday, September what? 19th? You are sitting here in this mosque listening to the lecture. There are other people, right? They are Muslims. Maybe in this city, maybe in other cities, or in the nightclubs, drinking alcohol. Free choice. You made your own mind. This is your choice to come and learn and progress and bring your family, your kids to learn. And they make their own choice too. Islam does not work for them. Can you force them? You cannot force them. Free life, free choice. But then we're going to see the results in this life and in the hereafter too. We're going to see the result. Any action we take, any decision we make, it has two types of results and outcomes. One in this life, lower life, the second one in the akhirah. The brother asked that some sisters say hijab at work or at school, they are not going to wear it. Again, my friends, we have to convince them that you should not worry about your friends at school. In fact, if your friends are open-minded and civilized, they're going to respect your choice. They're going to support you. I've seen in my life Christian women. When Islam was under attack, one day I arrived into my masjid, my mosque, Friday prayers. I saw a chain of Christian women coming from a church, all of them putting hijab on. I said, what's going on? They said, we are coming in solidarity with you Muslim guys. Because you are under attack, we are wearing hijab to say that we support Islam. They are Christians from a church. People are going to respect you. People are of good faith and open-mindedness, people who are civilized, people who have mercy, people who know why God created them, they're going to support you. Even if they disagree with you, that they support your choice. And people who have a prejudice, whatever you put on, even because of the color of your skin, they're going to hate you. Even if you don't wear hijab, because of your accent, because you are not, white, whatever. They are not going to respect you. What can you do? This is life. It has good people and bad people. So don't try to appease your friends. Try to appease God. When you appease God, God is going to support you. You're going to feel proud of yourself. Look, 20 years down the road, when you have children, when your children are grown up, they look at the mother, they say, Mom, good job. You were patient during dark days, difficult days after 9/11. Everyone was terrified. Everyone was afraid. But you kept your hijab on. We respect you, Mom. This is what you're going to earn. Okay. If time of salat arrives, let's say sunset today is 7:29, I believe. Yes? Here in this city, sunset, yes, is 7:29 in about 1 minute from now. If you have not done Dhuhr and Asr, And the time, we consider the time of sunset, not 12 or 15 minutes after sunset. The time of sunset. So let's say sunset is 7:29 and you arrive home and you have only 5 minutes to do namaz. If you can squeeze both Dhuhr and Asr very fast, you can skip the qunut. Qunut is mustahab, not wajib. Qunut, okay? Ruku' Subhana Rabbi al-Azim only. This is what is mandatory. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. This sentence is mandatory. Other than that, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, Subhanallah, these are mustahab. Sujood, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, period. Only these 3 words. So if you can do that fast and squeeze these 2, Dhuhr and Asr, before sunset, before 7:29, then you are done. You prayed during the time. But let's say there are 3 minutes left. You can't do Dhuhr and Asr. Either you do Dhuhr or Asr. Which one you do here? Asr, ahsant. Because Dhuhr is gone. Dhuhr, qada. You do it later on. Do the Asr. And then either after sunset do Dhuhr or later on. So we consider the time of sunset, not 15 minutes after sunset. In fact, my friends, some of the Shia Maraja and Ulama, they say the time of the prayers is the time of sunset, but we do ihtiyat, precaution. We make sure that the sunlight goes down a little bit. So you wait 10 to 12 minutes. You look up now. If you go out, now it's 7:29. If you go up, look at the sky. If it is not overcast, if there is no reflection of the sun above your head, immediately above your head, then that is the time of the prayers. Because it goes, the reflection of the sun after 10 to 12 minutes. But usually in Ramadan, people make it 15 minutes, just to be on the safe side. This is ذهاب الحمرة المشرقية. The reflection of the sun goes away, then that is the time of the salat. Okay? And then Brother Abbas asked, when is the qada of? Where is Rizal? You run away. Huh? Restroom? So I wait for him to come. Yes. So tell him, qada of Maghrib and Isha. Qada of Maghrib is until midnight. Midnight does not mean 12 midnight. Midnight could be 11:30, 11:20, depending on the time, depending on whether now it is summer or winter. So you have to divide. Divide what? You take the time of sunset, 7:29. Sunrise today was 7:30, 7:12. 7:12. So from 7 to how many hours? About 12 hours. You divide it by 2, 6 hours. Okay, you add 6 to 7, 7:29, 6 plus 6 hours. Yeah? 1:29. 1:29. So that is the time of midnight. Here now. Tonight, midnight is almost 1:29. So Maghrib can stretch to 1:29. After 1:29, it becomes qada. Isha can stretch up to Fajr. Fajr today was 6. No. 6, yeah. Huh?
5:59.
Was 6. In fact, on my app, it was 6 a.m. Yeah. So Isha is up to Fajr. Is to 5:55 a.m. you can do Isha. But don't delay it until that time. Don't delay the prayers. Okay. 2 more questions and we go. The mahram, my friends. Mahrams are of 2 types. What does mahram mean? Mahram means the person that you cannot marry. Are of 2 types. One is nasabi, the second is sababi. Nasabi means your mother, nasab, blood relationship. Your mother, you cannot marry. Your aunt, you cannot marry. Your daughter, your sister, you cannot marry those. Sababi means through marriage, not through blood. Such as whom you cannot marry. You cannot marry your mother-in-law, God forbid. You married her daughter, enough. Alhamdulillah. This is through marriage. You cannot marry your sister-in-law while you are marrying her sister, your wife. If your wife, you cannot marry her sister. Unless, God forbid, you divorce the sister, the iddah is over, then you can marry her sister. So you cannot marry her. Though she has to wear hijab from you. She was to wear hijab from you and you cannot marry her. So those are sababi. Sababi means a reason, because of the marriage reason. Now the question is, cousins, they are playing together, raised together in the same house. They see each other every day. They treat each other like a brother and sister. Now they reach the age of puberty, the age of bulugh. Can they still...
I don't get that. Could you try again?
Okay.
Was he commenting on my question?
Siri, not
Siri,
yeah.
please, Siri, respect our session. So those cousins, now the boy is, let's say, 13. He reached the age of puberty. Around 13 nowadays. It could be 12, it could be 14, it could be 15, depending on the hormones, on the growth, on the food they eat. And the girl, according to majority scholars, 9 years, and some scholars say 13 years. Some scholars today, they say she reaches 13 years Hijri, not Gregorian, Islamic calendar. If she reaches 13 years, she becomes baligh. So things become prayers, fasting, hijab, mandatory upon her. Now, can she, after, let's say, the age of 13, can the boy, the cousins, they still hug each other, kiss each other, see each other without hijab? Can they do that? They cannot do that. I know some people say, but they are cousins. They are like brothers and sisters. They were playing together, nursing together, you know, seeing each other in diapers. How can now? This is the rule of God. Yes, maybe they are like brothers and sisters, but after the age of puberty, the girl has to observe the hijab. No more hugging, no more. Yes, they can sit and talk, and it's okay, but no more personal relationship or touching or things like that. The last question, going on the arba'in, inshallah. Always remember that this trip is a special trip. And this trip of the arba'in is by invitation only. So just like Hajj. Many people, they like to go to arba'in, but they can't. They can't. Many people, they'd love to go to Hajj, they can't, because it's by invitation only. So this is a special trip. I know some people who tour the whole world, but when it comes to Hajj, they don't make it to Hajj. They don't go to arba'in. They spend millions of dollars going on vacations, left and right, everywhere. But when it comes to Hajj, Umrah, Ziyarah, they have no tawfiq. By invitation. Some people, they go every year. They receive the invitation every year. Some people don't get the invitation. It has to do with our nafs, with our intention, with our niyyah. Has to do with these things. So this trip is a special trip. And it is a trip about paying a tribute to Imam Hussein and his family. It's a season of sadness. If you see people are happy, laughing, cracking jokes, don't join them. Some people go to arba'in ziyarah, but they are laughing as if he's going to a party. He doesn't appreciate the meaning of ziyarah, the meaning of arba'in. Stay away from them and observe the wajibat. When time comes for the salat, whether you are moving or stationary, stand for the prayers. Don't miss your prayers. And also talk to Allah during this trip, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is. It is very spiritual. Speak to Allah. Ask Him the tawfiq, as the Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah. آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة. Not only the request of the dunya. Oh God, money, job, husband, car, house. These things are good, but don't forget about the akhirah also. These things are temporary. We're going to leave the money, the job, the house, and we're going to leave, believe me. We are not going to stay in that house forever. We are guests. The Prophet says every person in this life is a guest. من في الدنيا ضيف وما في يده عارية. Whatever you own is not yours because you're going to leave it behind you. Your car, your house, your money, your cash, your jewelry. You're going to leave it behind you and go. Go only with kafan. So Hassan said we are planning to get a cemetery here. We have to. We have to remind ourselves because sometimes we get carried away. This dunya keeps us busy. We think nothing but dunya. Buying a cemetery and buying a grave for ourselves remind us that there is another abode, another house. There is a journey waiting for us. We have to be careful. So ask Allah for the needs of the dunya and the akhirah. آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة, and most importantly وقنا عذاب النار. Protect us against the punishment on the day of judgment. Remember the mu'mineen in the dua, inshallah, when you go. I hope and pray, inshallah, you go and come back safe and sound, and you will see good things, inshallah, good results out of this trip. When you go with ikhlas, with sincerity, you're going to see many changes happening in your life, inshallah. Thank you so much for being so patient with me tonight. Let's prepare for the salat. And tomorrow, inshallah, we're going to have our final session here at Maghrib. So we begin like this time, 7:40, 7:45. And then, inshallah, we keep it short because it's a working day. And I bid farewell to you tomorrow, inshallah. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
لما بنطلع بالطيارة أحيانا تطلع الطيارة